Hello everyone and welcome to our today's flight from Zagreb to Belgrade. We'll be flying under the Air Serbia call sign, but unfortunately Air Serbia does not have the dash, nor do I have a decent livery of the Air Serbia 4 dash. It's actually flying the ATR-72, but we'll be flying dash today. We have just loaded our sim into this beautiful scenery of the Zagreb airport, and hopefully today we're not going to be out of VRAM. We'll be able to actually land as supposed to. So okay, it's much more peaceful in the cockpit. As you can see, we're in cold and dark state, and the first thing we are going to do is basically we are going to load and do the weight calculations, because I like to do it first. Just give me a second to see if I can share everything with you. Okay, there it is. And also I will need my OFP for this. Then I'll be able to share everything with you. So just a moment. So here it is. On the left we have the OFP, on the right we have a Majestic control board. So let's start by entering first the fuel calculation. So the total block fuel we are going to need is 2000, so 2 tons, a little bit over 2 tons, and we can actually add it here. Our trip fuel is going to be 778 kilograms of fuel. Add it here. We'll have a total of 47 passengers today, and since on my previous flight I already had 46, I can just add one more and one more bag for now. And also because the bag weighs 16 kilograms and we have a 1 ton of cargo, I'm just going to do simple calculation and see. So it's 62 bags that we are going to need. 62 plus 47 bags of the passengers, it's 109 bags. 109, that means we can put 70 bags in the back or the aft compartment and 39 on the front. Let's do the calculation. We should probably move bags from the aft position to the forward position, so we can just say 65 and add here maybe 44. Let's see if I got that correctly. Yeah, that looks pretty fine. So we can now do the send data to our flight sim. Let me now get back into the cockpit. As you can see, the simulation is paused, unpause it, and okay, so our weights and fuel are now loaded. We are starting from cold and dark, and the procedure is rather simple. We go from left to right, from up to down. So first we start our DC power. We turn on standby battery, auxiliary battery, and the main battery, and we turn on the main battery or the battery master. As you can see, everything lights up nicely. I still believe this is better. So generator 1 DC and generator 2 DC are on. Main bus tie is also on. AC control, AC generators are on, so anything that is left is turning on the external power, and Majestic provides us with an external ground power unit out of the box, so we can now wait for our airplane to power up. Let me just connect to the VATSIM, so we'll be flying under Air Serbia 13 Quebec today. And let's submit our flight plan. Our cruising altitude is going to be
bank angle
19,000 feet, and we have successfully submitted it. So while the aircraft is powering up, we can go back. So we are done with the DC power for now. Ice protection, everything remains the same. Windshield, all good. We move on to the right. We can actually perform the APU fire test. As you can see, we have sign. Also, let's do the engine fire tests. Both are okay. Let's do the cargo compartment smoke test 1 and 2. Both are okay. Also in the forward baggage compartment store, that's also good. Then we can proceed with the ELT is in armed position, that is fine. We can actually do the test, everything is okay. Then for the flight data recorder we can do the ground test, all good, as you can see. Exterior lights remain the same. Okay, here we can actually turn on all the backlights in the cockpit. APU not for now. Engine start all looks good, so both ignitions are in normal mode. Start is extinguished and select is in the middle, that is fine. We can now move to our cabin altitude, and since we are going to land in Belgrade elevation is around 320. We can actually set it there. Everything else remain on auto. Also our forward outflow valve remain closed. Our exterior lights, we can turn on the position and the logo lights. We can also turn on recirculation fan to get not to bleed for now. This all looks good. Our temperature control is at 12 o'clock. Our bleed is at minimum position, that's fine. So we can turn on the fasten seat belts, no smoking signs. We can also do the test of the advisory and caution lights, all looks good. We can remain bright, and we can also arm our emergency lights. With that we are done with the overhead panel, and now we can actually proceed with additional tests. So takeoff warning test, all good. ADC test 1 looks good. ADC test 2 also fine. Stall warning test, just keep until you get the stick shaker. There we go. Okay, stall warning number 2, same procedure. There we go. Steering for now remains off. Also circle breaker flights, we don't need it. We can do the captain side instruments, that's also okay. And we can check this, that's also fine. From here we can move on to the glare shield. Again, from left to right, it's GPWS test. Let it initialize and do it works.
Terrain. Pull up.
Same for the
Light
first
slow.
officer side.
Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
That's also good. Now let's go and do the anti-skid test. Caution is on, that is fine, it remains on. We are done with the glare shield. Now we can move actually to the first officer right side. Turn on the lights, circuit breaker panel is off. As for the oxygen, it's full, and our forward outflow valve is off and guarded, that's fine. We can now proceed with our pedestal upper section. Here, let's start the FMSs, they need time to boot. And also what we need to do, let me just get a bit down. There we go. So we need to start the auto feather test, which will be in progress. When it's done, we can remain it off. Turn on our communication device. Let's tune 122.8 because there is no ATC at Zagreb at this moment. There we go. And also, let me just double check that. Yeah, no ATC at all, not even the ATS sector. So from here, we can actually switch our unit to test, go down here, where we'll turn on our radio panel, and basically, yeah, so if you hear that, test is good, so we can just turn it back to on position, and there you go. And now turn this on. Next thing, we can start our weather radar test, which should progress here. There we go. So weather radar test is okay. We can turn it back on standby power, or we can even turn it off, but doesn't matter at this moment. As for our systems here, we can actually control that panel from here. So our electrical systems, as we can see, we are using the external power for the DC. AC generators are not producing any power because the motors are not working. That's fine. Engine status all looks pretty much normal for the shutdown engine. As for our fuel, we have 2 tons of fuel as per the OFP. That's okay. Our door systems, all doors are closed. And basically this is the time where we can actually request boarding. Now in order to be able to do that, we need to go here, okay, accept, and accept. Our database is up to date, that's fine. And now we need to decide which one of these is going to be our primary sources route, and then when we complete the setup, we can just do the transfer to the second one. Because most of the flight I'm going to be flying from the first officer side, I'm going to configure everything on the first officer FMC and then exfil it to the captain side. Here we start with the fuel. So we get our zero fuel weight from the Majestic control panel. So as you can see, it says that our zero fuel mass is 24,304 kilograms. So we'll just type that in, 24,304, 24,304. We can enter it. And as for the fuel on board, as we already checked, we have 2005 kilograms of fuel. Let me get this out of my way for now. So 2005 kilograms of fuel. Enter. That's it. And we get our gross weight of 26,309. We'll need that for later on for the speed charts. For now, everything is okay. So we'll continue with this. Just double check if they are asking us to open the doors. Yes. So we can go here. Then basically, I believe services. Yes, exits. And we can open the front passenger door. We'll get the warning probably. Yep. As you can now see, the main entrance is open. Next one is going to be the passengers and the bag. We are not going to load the catering because this is a short flight. There will be no catering on board. And the aft baggage compartment. There we go. So we are done with the doors. Ignore that for now. Let's focus on this one. So our navigation display from Lima Delta Zulu Alpha. And yes, it's Franjo Tuđman Airport, International Airport in Zagreb, to Lima Yankee Bravo Echo, which is Nikola Tesla International Belgrade Airport. Also, let's accept. And here, nothing for now. We can basically go to the flight plan and select the route, which should be already stored. So we are looking for the Zagreb to Belgrade. Let's find it. Here it is, number 10. We enter number 10, and it says it's the Lima Delta Zulu Alpha Victor Bravo Alpha Lima Alpha Kilo India Kilo Charlie Echo Romeo India Golf Mike Uniform and Lima Yankee Bravo Echo. So the route looks good. That's good for now. So we have successfully loaded the route. Now we need to get the weather for Zagreb, and we can actually do that here. So using this Unilink, and we can say text weather, we will ask us for the station, we'll say Lima Delta Zulu Alpha, and we can also, add Lima Yankee Bravo Echo, I believe, yeah, and we can then type send. I also want to try, maybe we didn't need to enter everything, so it's sending. Nope, nothing happens there. So we can now return, check our message log, and we have received the weather data report, which says that in Zagreb we have the weather for the 30th of August, 3 p.m. local, 3 p.m. Zulu. The wind is 270 degrees, 5 knots. It's variable between 230 and 360. Cav OK. 24 degrees, temperature 10 degrees Celsius, dew point QNH 1013. And also we get the TAF for the Zagreb, which we do not care at this point. So 27.5, we can basically take off from both runways, both 22 and 04. So in our case, because we are traveling to the east, I believe, well, because it's basically north-south, we don't really care, so we'll go with the 22. We can now go back to the flight plan and select a departure from the runway 22, so that will be number 2. Our first waypoint, I believe, is Victor Bravo Alpha, so we have Victor Bravo Alpha 1 Victor and Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo. Now I want to show you how I do things. It doesn't mean it's the correct way, but let's do it. So here is the charts application, the Navigraph charts. I load a flight, and the runway 22 is pre-selected. So we have Victor Bravo Alpha 1 Victor and Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo. The way I do it, I select this one, so it is this one, and then we can see that it is straight ahead in 223 course, then left turn 2 miles from Lima Uniform Kilo and the VOR, and then we are actually going to the left in the 0901 course from the Papa India Sierra VOR until we reach this point here, where we are actually going in 069er and leaving over Victor Bravo Alpha VOR. The other one is Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo, and if we take a look at that chart, it basically says takeoff in the direction of Papa India Sierra as previously, 225, and then turn left, intercept 076 radial of the Victor Bravo Alpha, and just straight ahead all the way there. So we are going to use that one. So we are going to use the Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo. As for the arrival, we will go back to this later on, and of course I forgot to show you the charts. I'll do that later on. So Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo is number 19. That's it. So flight plan says go to the course 223 until reaching 760 feet, then proceed to Delta 225 Bravo and then turn on the course 076 of Victor Bravo Alpha, then at 6000. So our initial climb is going to be 6000, and also since I'm going to fly from this side, so our initial climb is 6000, that's set. Also our departure route is set. Now we can go back and actually check the weather in Belgrade, because this is a pretty short flight. So if we check weather report, here is the Belgrade weather report. It says 2406 knots, variable between 180 and 290, Cabo K 23 degrees, QNH 1014. Let's look at the TAF. The TAF is basically 270 12 knots. Now this can be interesting, because between 4 and 6 p.m. it can become 1404 knots, with of course tempo between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. tomorrow, which we do not care. So in our case, if it's going to become 1404 knots, I'll opt out for ILS 12, and then if needed we can switch the direction. We'll take Rigmu 2 Kilo, ILS 12 Devda. So let's go to flight plan, menu, arrival. Arrival is going to be 12. We are going to use Rigmu 2 Kilo, which is number 16. Yes, that is the runway 12. We are going to use the ILS approach, that is number 2. And we are going to use the Devda transition, which is basically straight ahead. That's it. So now we hear, and let's just double check there are no discontinuities. So Rigmu, Bravo Golf Delta 46, then Tango Alpha Delta Alpha Mike, Whiskey Alpha Lima 51, Devda, and after Devda we have a discontinuity. This usually happens between the initial approach fix and the end of the arrival, standard arrival route. Just to make sure that we receive clearance. Since there is no ATC, we can now actually remove it and then just complete it without issue. This no link and this no links, no link, it means basically that this one is the end. So Kilo November runway 12. And then after that we have actually missed approach procedure loaded, so in case of missed procedure we have everything ready. That's it. We have the flight plan loaded, we have the fuel loaded, so for that part we are fine. We can now actually go here and do the exfil of the flight plan to the pilot side, and we can basically do the transfer of the fuel. There we go. So this is also set. Everything is set. We can go here to the flight plan. We can now go here. Actually, no. Fuel is okay. We can now actually switch this to our navigation display also. That looks fine. Here we will monitor the terrain. Here we're going to monitor the weather. So now let's focus on the speeds. Let's see. So our gross weight is 26 tons. If you take a look at the speed charts, which I have printed out here, our takeoff speed is going to be for flaps 5 with 26. The temperature is 23 degrees. So we have 126, 126, 127. Now the way it works in Dash is you go here and you scroll it up. So 126, 126, and 127. Now the additional two speeds I like to add is the retraction speed of the flaps, which will be 137. 137. And the climb speed, clean climb speed, which is 148. There we go. Now that we have those informations, I can actually turn on the APU now because the passengers are basically boarding, so we'll do the start. What I like to do now is double check there are no special noise abatement procedures. So just the regular 1+1000 above ground level. And let's see what it says for the nose abatement. Noise departure, start and pushback. Nose abatement procedure says aircraft operator should follow NADP 1 noise abatement procedures according to the CAO document. And I want to double check it just not to say something incorrectly. So these procedures mean initial climb speed to the noise abatement initiation point is not less than V2 plus 10. When at above 800 feet above aerodrome elevation, the engine power chassis is adjusted in accordance with the noise. A climb speed of V2 plus 10 is maintained with the flap slats in the takeoff position at no more than 3000 feet aerodrome elevation. While maintaining a positive rate of climb, the aircraft is accelerated and the flap slats retracted. So basically 800, 3000. What does this mean? This means we take off with a takeoff power. At 800 feet above ground level, we reduce power to the climb speed or to the climb power. And we continue climb with a takeoff configuration to at least 3000 feet above airport elevation level. And that is the moment where we can actually speed to the clean speed and do the retraction of the flaps and everything else and do the acceleration. Okay, so what I like to do is basically because the QNH is 1013 for Zagreb, let me just double check that. Yep, so it's a standard pressure, it's 24 degrees perfectly, everything looks fine. So 370, and I just double check that with the chart. So the chart says that our airport elevation is, give me a moment. Our airport elevation is 353, which is around that. Yeah. So 350 plus 800, it is 1150. And I like to use DH for that, so 1000, or since we are using the DH, let's just go with the 800 feet above ground level because we're going to, but any case, no, it's my bad. We are using the DH, we are depending on the radio altimeter, which can be different, so let's just set the MDA to 1150. So basically at this moment, when we pass this altitude, we are going to reduce to the climb, that is the rating of 900, continue until we reach 3300, and then we are going to actually retract the flaps and increase our speed. Since we are going to climb V2 plus 2, it's with our V2 speed is 127. So we can now proceed with this configuration. Select the nav source, so we want FMS2 on this side and we want FMS1 on this side. That's okay. The next thing we want a heading selected at 225, I believe. No, I'm scrolling the wrong button. So our heading should be 225. 225, there we go. that is the runway heading, and the runway heading should be 225. But let me double check that again. No, it's actually 223. So let's set it to 223. Perfect. So we have a heading selected, we have altitude selected. Alt cell is very important because it will not stop climb at 6000 if you don't have alt selected. And we are going to use the indicated airspeed mode for the climb, where we are going to put V2 plus 10, which is 137. There we go. So we have everything configured here. Our APU should be on, yes. So let's switch to the generator and let's turn on the bleed there and open the bleeds, but keeping it to a minimum. And we can basically, now since we have the generator on, we can turn off the external. As you can see, generator turns green, and we do the main bus tie off. So from this moment we are actually on the APU. Boarding has been completed. And the out of feather test has passed, so we can turn it off. The next thing we need to do, we need to close the doors. So let's go here to the exit, and why are they? Please don't open anything. Thank you. Aft baggage door. So should be okay. Let's go here, select not there, that's fine. Let's select the systems on this page. So the electrical system, now the APU is actually under load. We have disconnected the external, so it's not illuminating anymore. Our engine is okay. Fuel is okay. Check doors once again, all closed, so basically we are good. Let's go back to the engine, and we now should be able to start our engines. So bleeds are on, APU is on, we turn our beacon light on, and basically select engine number 2. Should it be engine number 1? I'm never 100% sure, but works both ways. So, starting the engine, we go down and we wait for the NH to reach 15, and once it reaches 15 we can introduce the fuel to the right engine. Now we have a fuel flow rising, which is perfect. The ITT is rising, we are closely monitoring it. ITT is rising, everything looks good for now, and here goes our NL. Our oil pressure is also rising. There we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
As you can see, our number 2 engine is successfully started. We can now basically proceed with the engine number 1. Similar procedure. Go back here.
We would kindly ask you to contact us first.
NH is rising on 15%.
And the cellular phones may not
We'll
be
introduce
used
the
during
fuel.
the entire flight.
There we go.
We wish
Okay,
you
here
a
comes the fuel.
pleasant
Fuel
stay.
flow goes up. Right engine looks good. ITT is stable. Oil pressure is good. All is green, so we're fine there. That click was the starter button. And now we have successfully started both engine. We can gradually increase. There we go. So both engines started. Go back to the navigation. All looks good. Wait for the props to stabilize.
If we have your attention to the international safety regulations.
I'm going to switch to the captain side for the taxi, and basically we are going to taxi in reverse, turn our tail to our right side, then go straight, left, right, and take the full length of the runway. We don't need to take full length, but we can of course do it. There's never enough runway if you ask me, so we are good. Now go here. Our auxiliary fuel pumps should be on. The auto feather is also on. Standby hydraulic pressure pump also on. It's on. Turn on the yaw dampener. Basically, one more thing.
Thank you for your attention.
Since we are flying in uncontrolled airspace on Batsi, we are going to slow 2000. So we are going back on Mike Charlie, Golf, Foxtrot, Echo. So let's take a look one more time. I hate when I don't have ATC for this reason exactly. And turn on the nose wheel steering. Before pushing back, it has some strange behavior where it wants to do weird thing with our gear. So I'd like to make sure it's centered. There we go. There we go. Okay. So parking brake is off, and let's report on the frequencies. So Zagreb traffic, Air Serbia 13 kilo, power pushback Echo 9er on Mike Charlie, and we'll be taxiing Mike Charlie Golf, holding point runway 22. So we notified anybody around us if they just wanted to know. Okay, that will be too much, but this is fine. Not perfect, but it wasn't terrible. Return everything to the idle position. Turn on the taxi lights, and we can now taxi. I'm using my keyboard for this because it's very, very, very touchy. we forgot the flaps. Now the misting can be actually solved with warm-up and the pilot side heat, and also flaps 5. So now turn on our weather radar. I like to turn on my lights, also turn on the standby and the pitot heats. Very important, don't forget it, you get the inaccurate readings, the pilot will then disengage and you have a lot of troubles just because those little static ports gets frozen up. Zagreb traffic, Air Serbia 13 Quebec, lining up runway 22 for takeoff, Victor Bravo Alpha 5 Echo. There we go. Now we could backtrack, but I'm not going to do that. Although I did say that there's never enough runway, but have successfully lined up. Steering wheel is off. Lever off. I believe we are fully ready for departure. Yes, so airspeed is alive. APU has stayed on, but we'll take off and then deal with that. So we have V1, VR. Pull back gently, gently. There we go. There we go. With a bit of trim to nose down. And we can actually turn on the autopilot. Now that we have reached MDA, I'm going to pull the conditions to the climb mode. Now I'm going to switch it to the L mode. Basically never turned off the APU, my bad. And actually push leads to norm. For 3,300, that will be soon, so we can now move our selected indicated airspeed to match 148. There we go. Our retraction is 137, so we can now retract the flaps. There it goes. And we can turn off the fuel pumps, the auto feather, and the standby hydraulic pump. And basically we'll proceed climbing to 1980, which is our cruise altitude for today's flight. Just keeping an eye what the plane is going to do at this point, because it needs to make a pretty sharp turn to the left. So what I want to see is he going to turn left or not? Still no ATC. Flaps 0, condition MCL, that's fine. We can turn off the lights. Gear is, we forgot it. I forgot to take the gear up, but okay. And I believe that now we are going to have the issue with the gear not going up. Retraction speed is 200. Let's see what can be done there. landing gear inoperable. So unfortunately we are going to need to return to the Zagreb because of our landing gear. Yeah, let's do that. So how are we going to do it? I'm going to select the heading, but first move the heading this way. Select, and we can actually tell him to stop climb. There we go. We are going to... Yes. Our flight plan for that. But we don't actually need a flight plan for that. What I need is to stay parallel with it. So if it was 220, it will be 043. Parallel course to the runway. I'll need the ILS frequency for Zagreb, which is 109.1. So let's go 109.1. There we go. The final course is going to be 223. So we can now switch there and give it 223. There we go. There we go. So, going straight ahead, and also I believe that the beginning is 3,500, so we should be start descending down to 3,500. LDZA, but we're going now to use vertical speed, which is going to be 1,800, and we'll be reducing our thrust, bring the gear down. Zagreb traffic, Air Serbia 13Q back is coming back to Zagreb. We are on a downwind for runway 22. We'll be intercepting ILS 22 approach. And we are also descending down from 10,000 to 3,500. Well, our gross weight is still, I believe, above. No, not that. Overhead landing weight is going to be 2,000. Yeah, 26 tons. So 26 tons with flaps 35. There we go. The landing is going to be 122 as an approach speed. 122 our approach speed, and also 116 here. One thing I didn't check, and hopefully I'm still above it, is my sector altitude. And the sector altitude is 3,300 and 2,800, depending. The limitering is the radial 222, so we should be fine. Now my plan is to extend the downwind all the way down to, let's say, 500, then turn 90 degrees to the left, and then again 90 degrees to the left, and intercept the ILS 223 course. So there we can see our glide slope. As soon as we get below the glide slope, we can actually start turning. And I'm actually going to start reducing my speed to, let's say, 220 maybe. There is the glide slope. Now start turning to the left. There we go. Monitoring our speed and our altitude, and we can actually reduce our vertical speed. It will also help us reduce the speed, but with dash speed is not really a concern, so I will stay to 220. And I believe we're going to overshoot the localizer. That is just that we are approaching the selected altitude. That's fine. It will stop descending at that altitude, and it is also our intercept, so there we go. And now all we need to do is go 45 degrees for the intercept. Speed, add a little bit. Zagreb traffic, Air Serbia 13 Quebec, intercepting ILS 22, and we are on 3,500. There we go. So, all looks good. We can now arm the approach. As you can see, lock is armed and glide slope is armed. That's fine. Keep an eye on the speed. And basically back to full. Auxiliary pumps on, auto feather on, standby pressure on. And we can turn on again the lights. There we have the localizer. Very nicely, very gentle left turn. Yep, gears remain down. I believe the operating speed is pretty high for the flaps, so we can go with flaps 200, 180, 170 and 160. We are already on 200, so once the glide slope become alive, we can actually extend to 5 degrees, then on 180 extend to 10 to 15, and then in the end to 35. So let's keep it around 200 for the intercept. We're established on the localizer, glides below glide slope, all good. is alive. Also our minima is 548. For the ILS. Let's leave it there. And our go around is 3000, so that's perfect. Slope, we can start reducing the thrust. Let's set go around altitude to 3000. Set. Extend flaps to 5 degrees. And we can actually keep our speed around 180. Traffic Air Serbia 13 Quebec, fully established, ILS22. Depending on the distance, we are like 8 miles final. And there we go, 180 at thrust. We don't want to be too slow on the approach. Right, there we go. So we are now on a 6 mile. Let's reduce to 160 and we can go flaps 10. And I'll keep 160 until 4 miles. Then we can start reducing to our approach speed, which is 122. Start reducing our speed and go flaps 15. Hope it's 15, yes.
1000.
Flaps
500.
Let the airplane trim itself for the approach, and then we're going to disengage the autopilot. There we go. Pull the nose up. Add thrust.
Too low.
Speed. That was close. Okay. And the reason for this is because we let it sit in the full idle position. We are now going to shoot the threshold, but we should be fine. At least there should be enough runway for us to land. There we go. taxi out of the runway. While doing that, we can again start the APU, turn off the weather radar. Left is clear. Air Serbia 13 Quebec vacating runway 22 via Bravo. And we'll actually park somewhere straight ahead and be boarded by a bus. This one looks okay. Parking brake is set for 30 seconds. Reduce to the started feather. APU generator is on. Bleed air is on. Back to normal. Man bus tie. Turn off the lights, and we can shut down the engines. Check the flaps, which we should have done before turning off the engine, but maybe there's going to be enough petrol to do this. Who knows? Go. So today's flight was a bit shorter than expected, but at least you saw non-standard operation, so I'm hoping you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.